Howdy folks, my name is Reddy Opco, and welcome back to part number 7 of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In the last part, we took on the evil wizard Aghanim in Hyrule Castle for the very first time, and as a final stroke of evil, he took us to the Dark World, where we have 7 more dungeons to take on, the very first of which we are at right now. This is the Palace of Darkness. So it is in the same geographical position. Oh, I realize now checking my map does nothing for me, it just brings up the dungeon map. It's in the same geographical position as the Eastern Palace from before, and it has the same opening room, but as soon as you get into things, you are well aware that this is not going to be the same experience as before. Indeed, the Palace of Darkness is where things are really going to be ramping up. The game has some expectations of you at this point. If you were able to clear the first 3 dungeons, it's expecting you to maintain a even higher level of cross-room memory, basically. So, I'm really excited for the things that are in store in the Dark World, on the one hand, because it's cool dungeons. On the other hand, I'm really a little bit worried because I don't know exactly how good my memory of these places is on the whole. My memory of the Palace of Darkness is pretty set in stone, but this place is generally pretty easy. Oh man, I would like to mention though that in A Link Between Worlds, a game that is closely linked to this game, yeah, funny joke. In A Link Between Worlds, there is a Palace of Darkness in that game just as well, but in that game, for whatever reason, it was the most confusing dungeon in like almost any Zelda game for me. I could not understand what exactly it was asking me to do the entire time. And the entire thing is actually literally in darkness. Like, it's basically what the dark rooms look like in this game, except even more miserable, honestly. Yeah, I did not enjoy the Palace of Darkness in A Link Between Worlds very much. Not at all. But in this game, it's a much more tolerable affair. Just gotta deal with a couple, regular puzzles. Although, this is really mean. Like, you get into here by blowing up cracks in the wall and such, and then they throw just fake cracks in the walls. It's such a jerk trick. I really do dislike that one aspect of this game's later dungeon design, is they didn't need to trick you like that, like by putting fake walls and such, like fake bombable walls. I just feel like that's kind of a cheap trick. It's designed to, if anything, make you waste resources on things that may not be real, and I just can't seem to find any agreeable design reason why they would put in fake stuff other than to just trick you and waste resources, which is a bad reason. And as you can see, we're already being asked to juggle 2 small keys at a time. I believe that is far more than any of the previous dungeons have been asking of us, so things really are ramping up. That said, I enjoy the Dark World dungeons very significantly still. Especially, I appreciate that actually, isn't it the same dungeon theme across? No, it changes, right? I'm so bad at listening to music, and I must admit that I listen to the music at a super quiet volume so that I'm able to hear myself if I'm being too loud. I do that to moderate my own volume, so I'm not able to exactly hear it super well. It just kind of sounds like more 16-bit trumpets, which does great in my book. So, moving onwards, we've got a lot of things to contend with in this dungeon. It's bringing back from the Tower of Hera. We've got multi-level marketing here. I'm sorry, that was a poor joke. But multiple levels in the dungeon that you can fall down onto from a higher level that will affect different things. As you can see, we've got this cool room here. If we fall through the bombable side on the left side there, we can come up and grab this treasure chest, which is going to contain the big key for this dungeon. Imagine we will be needing that, huh? It can open many locks that small keys cannot. Perfect. And this is also going to let us fall into the right side of the room here, which is where we also wanted to go. We wanted to hit up both places, so this is a convenient and efficient way to get on through here. I will admit, though I don't think anyone particularly cares, if anything they probably am grateful that I would take the time to do so. I played through the dungeon just really quickly before I sat down to start recording this part, right after recording the last part, that is. I took a small interlude because I did not want to stumble around through here very confusedly. I wanted to at least do things, semi-competently, seem like I kind of know where I'm going. And for the most part, I remember the route through here at this point. It's not too tricky. But, it can definitely be confusing on your first go-around, especially the one key over here when I was mentioning the fake walls, down in the bottom right over there. That one chest confused me for the absolute longest time. I could not figure out what wall I needed to bomb in order to get over to it. It was just mystifying me, so I'm glad that I took the time to do a little bit of a practice run here, because this is going to help us do this in an actual reasonable amount of time instead of taking, I think I had previously, so I have mentioned in a couple of parts previously that I had some failed recording attempt. What it was that I was having a lot of trouble one particular day getting commentary going. I just couldn't, for whatever particular reason. It just wasn't coming to me. And sometimes that happens. Can't force these kinds of things. There's a motivational quote that I go by that basically it ends with keep the channel open. You have to be aware of the motivational urge, like yes, I want to record, and trying to force that sort of thing can end up really terribly. But either way, what I had recorded beforehand was I recorded the video without the audio, without the commentary, in an attempt to do some post-com, which it almost worked, but I wasn't enjoying it as much, genuinely, so I moved away from it, and I'm much, much more grateful to be doing it live here, so that I can say things like getting the magic hammer. You can drive the wooden stakes down into the ground. You can use it to pound on other things as well. That's going to be a useful tool in our arsenal, and I believe we've already seen some pegs that we're going to want to try and give a slap with that hammer. This is very, very handy. So, I'm hoping that this will be a much quicker and more efficient run through the Palace of Darkness here, because that very first run without the commentary, even without talking at the same time, I was so slow. It was 25 minutes just to clear the dungeon, whereas I'm out here, as far as my goals for this part, which I should know better than to say explicit goals for each part, because then I almost always run past my time anyways. But my goal here is to get this dungeon cleared out and then maybe hit up some of the side content in the Dark World that is going to be accessible to us. So, good stuff. So, let's hit the torch here, make it a little bit easier to see, and I'm also going to whip out some magic powder. And if you can hit these guys, these enemies are actually called anti-fairies, so if you hit them with the magic powder, they will turn indeed into a regular fairy for you. Makes it a lot easier to go through and collect all these rupees. And it is very worth it to do that, because 5 times 3, or, wow. I am terribly bad at math. It's going to be 5 times 9 is 45 times 3, which is going to be 135. So there's 135 rupees on each side of this room, just in blue rupees, and all you have to do is avoid the anti-fairy. But if you have the magic powder, you don't even need to avoid them. You can just get rid of them. So that's why I wanted to pick that up as early as possible. It's really helpful for dealing with the anti-fairies. Okay, just making sure that I grabbed both of those chests, because for whatever reason I had a feeling that I did not, like I had just walked past them for some reason. But indeed, you know, you don't need to go through this locked door. You could totally end this dungeon with an extra key if you so felt like it. I don't see any reason to do that, considering that this is a easier way to get back to where we want to. But yeah, this room is totally optional. You don't need to unlock that door, and all this door leads us back to is this very same area, which you could just walk back here. No, I guess technically you couldn't, because that pathway collapses, so... Oh, no, I guess I'm just talking nonsense. There might be a way to beat the pathway if you're quick enough. I'm gonna go with that to justify my nonsense that I was on about. That would be really cool, though, being able to finish the dungeon with an extra key that you didn't need. be able to do a little bit of sequence breaking. It would be some good stuff, but as far as I can figure out, you do actually have to go through there. So, you know, I'll always, as always, taking facts out of the ether and making them into existence. It's like that one scene in Harry Potter where Dumbledore is pulling memories out of his head. That's me pulling ideas out of my head. Except that instead of being memories of things that happened, it's just random crap. It's a good system. That genuinely makes me wish I had never actually read the Harry Potter books, but that one specific magic technology, like the ability to yeet memories out of your head at will. Although that would actually probably be too strong of a power, right? The ability to erase your memory at will. Because then it's just like, I don't know. I'm actually kind of wondering what sort of implications that would have, because I'm struggling to come up with any, other than the obvious, like, you know, making mistakes and having bad memories is how you learn from them. You are forced to recollect upon them for a reason. On the other hand, cool magic mystical pulling out the thought snot bubble is some cool stuff. Okay, this cutscene takes a long time. It really doesn't. It only takes like 10 seconds. But sitting here and waiting for the wall to reseed for these, what is the second time now? We had to go through this in the Desert Palace too. This is just kind of absurd. And I don't think it's going to be the last time that we're going to wait for a portion of the dungeon to expand outwards like that. So look forward to that in the future. We've got lots more Expando Dungeon coming up just for you. I believe that's going to be Dark World Dungeon 3 that we can look forward to that in. And, you know, as a kid, I had always gotten Dungeon 2 and 3 in the Dark World completely mixed up in my head. For whatever reason, I always swapped their places. I think the reasoning for that is actually because Dungeon 2 is kind of a water dungeon, and in every successive Zelda game, they would make the water dungeons into more of, or into the third dungeon almost every single time. Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time would have their third dungeons be rather aquatic indeed. Okay, this turtle room is very tricky. It'd probably be a lot easier if I would actually light the lamp here. The reason that these turtle enemies are so tricky is because if you have some knocked over and you attempt, if you flip some over and then attempt to flip the rest over, you can run into an issue where you flip the ones that you flipped over in the first place, you flip them back onto their feet, and then suddenly they are faster and approaching you. So keep the hammer, because we need to get some turtley boys. Clean these guys right up nice. I wish that I could get out there and pop one of the anti-fairies. As a matter of fact, I am wondering... I don't need the magic particularly for anything. I don't think that this is going to work. But I'm here to experiment, you know? It would be really cool if I could get this to work, right? Be able to tag the anti-fairy within the confines of this boss area right here. Nope. Gotta aim a little bit better than that. Alrighty, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give up on that. Let's head on into the boss. I have 2 fairies in bottles anyways. Should hopefully be enough to bring me through this fight, although this is going to be a tough one. Right through this door is... the Helmasaur King. Ugh, and I've already taken damage, most unfortunately, so this guy is a tricky boss indeed. What you've got to do is he's got this big blue mask on, and you are going to need to use your hammer, and I believe you have to hit it 17 times, and no, I'm not joking. I'm pretty sure it is 17 times on the dot, because that is what I counted on my practice before. You have to hit him in the mask 17 times with the hammer, and then it will break off, and we will be able to do some actual damage to the boss. So there we go, did that pretty quickly. It is not the most difficult thing in the world, and then I'm curious. Yeah, if you want, you can go ahead and, sorry for my loud, excited, yeah. If you want, you can go ahead and use the arrows in this situation, but I believe that with the Master Sword upgrade, our sword is actually going to be a good bit more powerful than the arrows that we're shooting, so I'm just gonna stab him in the head, and there we go. For as much as I was hyping that up and perhaps needing both fairies, I actually managed to do it without dying. And I've got my trusty boomerang out, you guys know what that means. Gonna grab the heart container, and see if I can get it. Oh, it isn't spinning. But it's out? But it isn't spinning. But it's out. But it isn't spinning. But it's there. And it's not gonna stay in the cutscene, thank goodness, because that would be really awkward, but I've never seen this specific behavior before. This is why you do Let's Plays, ladies and gentlemen, so that you can share this kind of thing with other people. If I was just explaining this to someone, not cool. Watching it in the video as it happens to me, to us, super dope. Okay, let's throw on the...
Dawson, because of you, I can escape from the clutches of the evil monsters. Thank you. This world used to be the Golden Land where the Triforce was hidden. But because Ganon, the boss of thieves, wished it, the world was transformed. I'm sure he's intending to conquer even our light world after building his power here. He is trying to open a larger gate between worlds near the castle using our powers. But the gate is not open completely yet. If we 7 maidens come together, we can break the barrier around Ganon's hiding place.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I will tell you where the other girls are held. I believe you will destroy Ganon. I will return to my original form at that time. Do you understand?
Yeah, sounds reasonable to me.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce indeed. And with that, that is the very first Dark World dungeon complete, and with stunning speed, only 17 minutes to get through all of that. That is really, really good stuff, and as she mentioned, gonna check out the map. Ooh, lad. We have 6 more crystal locations that are now open to us, and only so many places that we can actually go with the hammer. So, unfortunately, we gotta hoof it. We have no options of saving and quitting within the Dark World. I believe that the only location that you can start back at is... Actually, you know what? I'm curious. What happens if I save and quit? Does it just start me back in the Light World? Because that would be more convenient than having to actually walk out of there. No, this works. Oh, okay. Apparently saving and quitting in the Dark World just returns you back to the very top of the pyramid, which, you know, that's a convenient location as far as I'm concerned. At least more convenient than walking out of... You have to go through, like, the hedge maze and all of the other business over by the Palace of Darkness, so let's not do that a second time and not run into the Kiki monkey. That would be most dangerous. I don't want him to steal all these hard-earned rupees that I got from the dungeon. Actually, most of them literally came from the room that the boss door was in, but I'm not complaining about that anti-fairy room. That is a sick room to go into if you have the magic powder. It's really great. That's one of the things that I love about games in general, like not this specific game, just almost all video games, is the ability to cheese. I love cheese. Just be able to do silly, stupid stuff out of order, or having powerful items earlier than you realistically should have. I just adore that stuff more than anything in the entire world, genuinely. It's so cool, because when you go back to a game on a second playthrough and it's just like, oh hey, I know that this thing is here, and because I know that this thing is here, I can do a super cool thing, and now the game is even super cooler than the first time that I played it, and I love it even more. And that happens so frequently with a lot of the games that I have played that I'm happy. It's a good time. Whoa, hey, that tree is looking at us. And he shot an explosive at us! That is turbo rude, my guy. You don't need to be going and doing any of that. I'm just trying to pass through. I am but a weary traveler, passing through the world, and trying to figure out where exactly it is that I want to go. I believe we're trying to get over to Kakariko, right? But I'm not entirely sure you can access it from this direction. Ooh, wait, no, we have something far more important than Kakariko Village, right up in this hollow. This guy is going to be turbo important. we can find a weird gremlin-looking thing sitting on the stump. After wandering into this world, I turned into this shape. I enjoyed playing the flute in the original world. There was a small grove where many animals gathered. I want to see that place again. I buried my flute there with some flower seeds. Will you try to find it for me? Absolutely. That sounds like a decent plan. And thankfully, we've got the power that the old man gave us of the not the shovel. The shovel is what this guy gave us. Digging in many places and not knowing what we'll find sounds riveting, but the more cool power is the power of the magic mirror to teleport us immediately to the light world. I don't think I actually came in this area in the light world, so I'll do it behind this tree for you lovely folks. Because there's this guy playing the flute who looks very mysteriously like us, green garb. As a matter of fact, he looks like dead on for Zelda 1 Link. It's very fascinating. So he's playing the flute for some animals, and you can go in and they'll all run away, which is really sad to see. And he will literally teleport out of here. He's just like, bye, I'm not dealing with any of this. But I believe right here, yep, you can hit the shovel and dig up the guy's flute for him. Its music surely has mysterious power. I can only wonder what sort of mysterious power it has indeed. Let's go show him the flute, why don't we? Oh, apparently I have biffed it. You have to actually talk to him. I thought you just played it. Thank you, Dawson, but it looks like I can't play my flute anymore. Please take it. If by chance you go to the village I lived in, please give it to a tired old man you will find there. Well, my mind is getting hazy. Please let me hear the sound of the flute one last time. This is genuinely sad. Can't interact with him or anything. He just turns into a tree. It's really sad. Dude just wanted to play his flute for the animals, and his punishment was getting sent to the dark world and turned into a tree. This is really, really harsh, man. What did he do to deserve that? I can't imagine anything that poor guy must have done to deserve such a horrific fate. Seriously, seriously sad. But I've got just one more thing that I think I would like to accomplish in this part before we get going. As much as I would love to, end the video on a tearjerker as you do, emotional high point. No, we will be ignoring that idea, and rather we're going to be using the magic mirror in the light world. There is a pickup that we can grab over here to the right now that we've got the hammer in tow. You might have noticed, I think that I had gone over here before just one time, although I'm not 100% sure. But over here, there's going to be a peg that we can knock down with our hammer, just like so, fall into this well here. And this is something that as a kid that I straight up could not figure out. I didn't realize what this was for. You come in here and there's this weird altar, and what you do is you take your magic powder and give it a little spritz, and a weird bat pops out. It's the weirdest thing. Hey, blast you for waking me from my deep, dark sleep. I mean, thanks a lot, sir. But now I will get my revenge on you. Get ready for it. Is that okay with you, sir? And very similar to Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. I laugh at your misfortune. Now your magic power will drop by 1/2. Congratulations. Now do your best, even though I'm sure it won't be enough. Have a nice day. See ya. I really, really love that interaction. It is just perfectly goofy. And with that, that's actually, he says that our magic power drops by 1/2, but what he means by that is that all magic-consuming items consume 1/2 as much magic, which is an extremely useful rule. You need this. This is necessary. You absolutely need this upgrade to play this game, as far as I'm concerned. For some of the stuff that comes later, we're going to be needing a heck of a lot of magic, so. With all of that said, I think that this is actually going to be a nice place to stop off. We've got a bit more unlocked with the power of the hammer here, so we can use our portal back to the Dark World. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hop back on in, so that we can get the end card with the cool Dark World music. How about it, you guys? Sound like a plan? And I believe I need to actually get myself over to a different area to prep. Yep, there's this guy. Yep, gonna be saving that for the next part. I hope you guys very much enjoyed part number 7 of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. My name is Reddy Opko, and I hope to be seeing you in part number 8.